Hello and welcome to the September 2025 newsletter from the Partially Sighted Society. This audio version lasts for roughly 48 minutes, and each article will be separated by a short musical jingle to help navigation. The Partially Sighted Society is a registered charity number 254052, and we may be emailed at reception@partsight.org.uk. And we can be phoned on 01302 965 195. That's 01302 965 195. These contact details will be repeated at the end of this newsletter. And on the newsletter's front cover there's a photograph of two people standing near a lake with trees surrounding them. The person on the right is a gentleman with a visual impairment, and he's wearing a PSS branded hat with the symbol of visual disability on it, as well as a badge and a lanyard communicating the same. The woman on the right is looking at the gentleman and smiling, and has her arm interlocked with him as his sighted guide. And beneath the words "The Partially Sighted Society" on the front page of this newsletter, it reads, "Seeing the Way Forward Together."
As usual, our newsletter starts with a welcome from the Partially Sighted Society CEO, Anita Plant. Anita writes, "Looking ahead together. As the nights draw in and autumn makes itself felt, I'm reminded how important it is to stay connected, supported and inspired. That's what we hope this newsletter brings you, a little window into the work we're doing together and the difference your support makes every day. I'm especially pleased to share our new partnership with Natural England. It's a big step towards making the beauty of our countryside open to everyone, regardless of sight. Access to nature is something many of us take for granted, and it's wonderful to know more people will be able to enjoy it. This issue also introduces the first part of a fascinating conversation with Mr Dinakaran, whose story into ophthalmology is both moving and full of hope. It is close to my heart that we are able to support the education of VI children in rural Tanzania with our surplus exercise books. This simple educational resource has a big impact for children in these schools, and it is always wonderful to hear the stories from Tanzania from the teachers working directly with the children. We've also been exploring how technology can support independence, from the new Meta X-Ray-Ban AI smart glasses, now available from PSS, to a step-by-step guide on using Google's Gemini for everyday tasks. Alongside that, there's practical advice for families as children with sight loss return to school, and a reminder of how important legacies are as we take part in Remember a Charity Week 2025. And because life isn't just about the serious things, we've included a cosy autumn recipe and some seasonal tips to help you feel at home as the days get cooler. Thank you, as always, for being part of our community. Your support means everything to us, and it's what makes all of our hard work possible. Signed, Anita.
PSS partners with Natural England to make nature more accessible. For many, nature reserves offer a place of peace, discovery, and connection with the natural world. But for those living with sight loss, the simple act of enjoying the outdoors can present a series of challenges. Uneven paths, unclear signage, and inaccessible information often stand in the way. That's why a new collaboration between the Partially Sighted Society and Natural England is being celebrated as a benchmark in making nature accessible to all. Over the past few months, the Partially Sighted Society has been working closely with Natural England's team at Humberhead Peatlands National Nature Reserve in Hatfield, Doncaster. The reserve, famed for its rare lowland raised bogs and unique biodiversity, is a vital natural habitat, but until recently, it wasn't as welcoming as it could be for visitors with visual impairments. Anita Plant, CEO of the Partially Sighted Society, explains why this partnership matters. Access to green spaces is not a luxury. It's essential for well-being. We are delighted that Natural England recognised this and actively sought our feedback to improve the visitor experience for people with sight loss. It's refreshing to work with a team that listens and takes meaningful action. In a recent site visit, members of the PSS team were given a guided tour of Hatfield Moor's most accessible route, where they were invited to walk the path and identify areas where improvements could be made. From tactile signage and better contrasted information boards, to smoother path surfaces and clearer wayfinding, a host of suggestions were made. The response from Natural England was swift and proactive. Receiving direct feedback from those with lived experience of visual impairment was invaluable, says David Fanneroff, team leader at Natural England. We've always aimed to make Humberhead peatlands a place for everyone to enjoy, but this partnership has shown us specific, practical changes we can implement to achieve that. It's been a fantastic learning experience, he said. Already, visitors are beginning to notice the difference. Clearer signage has been installed, certain pathways have been resurfaced, and visitor information is being adapted to be more accessible. Crucially, this isn't a one-off initiative. Both organizations are keen to continue working together, ensuring accessibility remains a priority in future developments. Anita adds, it's not just about ramps and rails. True accessibility is about feeling considered and included. We're proud of the progress made so far and look forward to seeing the Humberhead peatlands become a flagship example of accessible natural spaces. As organizations across the UK seek to improve inclusivity in public spaces, the collaboration between the Partially Sighted Society and Natural England stands as a powerful reminder that when lived experience is put at the heart of design, the results benefit everyone. And there's a number of photos with this article, at the top of which is the same photograph from the front cover, showing two people standing near a lake with trees surrounding them. The person on the left is a gentleman with a visual impairment, and the woman on the right is looking at the man and smiling with her arm interlocked with him as his sighted guide. Other photos show a man, bending down and getting close to a sign which reads lavender in order to read it, a woman wearing a backpack, reading an information board about the Hatfield Moors, and a man with a white cane descending a flight of metal stairs. Also shown is a photo of a woman wearing a pair of Meta AI glasses, holding a leaflet and smiling, and a man standing next to her instructing her on how to use the glasses. Also pictured is a member of Natural England engaging in conversation with two people, and a man stood next to an oversized pink lawn chair which has the words National Nature Reserves written on it. The man is smiling at the camera and has his thumbs up. There's also an image of three people. A woman is pushing a man in a wheelchair. The man is looking up in conversation with a person who has their back to the camera. Towards the foot of this article, there's a photo of people walking in Hatfield Moors on a path. One woman has a guide dog with her and is holding onto the arm of a sighted guide as well. Also pictured are two people walking in nature. The woman on the left is wearing a PSS hat. Walking next to her is her husband. Behind the couple, there's a visually impaired person being guided by a sighted guide, and a staff member of Natural England is giving a talk to PSS members about the moors and their wildlife. The audience is out of shot. Finally, there's a photo of a guide dog without its harness being allowed to run free on the grass of the moors.
An Eye for Change. Mr Dinakaran's Journey into Ophthalmology, Part 1. At the Partially Sighted Society, we know how important it is to highlight the people working tirelessly to improve eye care. This month, we begin a special interview series with Mr Subramanian Dinakaran, a consultant ophthalmologist, who shares his remarkable journey into the world of eye health. Over the coming editions, we'll explore how his career has evolved, the challenges faced by the profession, and the innovations that are changing lives today. In this first installment, Mr Dinakaran reflects on his early years in medicine, the lack of specialization in ophthalmology at the time, and the unexpected path that led him to dedicate his life to saving sight. When I was training back in India during the late 1980s and early 1990s, there were subspecialties within ophthalmology, but it was rare for doctors to focus on just one area. Most ophthalmologists were generalists. We did a bit of everything. That was simply how things were. He explains that although there were doctors with interests in specific eye conditions, the healthcare system required them to handle a wide range of cases, from cataract surgeries to squints, which affect eye alignment, and glaucoma treatments for increased eye pressure.
When Mr Dinakaran arrived in the UK in 1990, he found the situation surprisingly familiar. In the early years here, I was performing a broad range of procedures. Squint operations, drainage surgeries for glaucoma, cataract removals, and even some retinal treatments. But back then, the interventions we had for retinal diseases were very limited. One of the key treatments available at the time for retinal problems was laser photocoagulation, a method where laser beams are used to seal leaking blood vessels or prevent the spread of abnormal vessels within the eye. The main treatment we had for retinal problems was laser therapy. Conditions like age-related macular degeneration, AMD, which is now one of the leading causes of visual impairment in older adults, had no effective treatment back then. Often, we had no choice but to tell patients there was nothing we could do. It was heartbreaking. It was during his early years in the UK that Mr Dinakaran first encountered senior colleagues who were beginning to focus more deeply on particular areas within ophthalmology. Inspired by their passion, he decided to pursue a subspecialty himself, leading him to Sheffield for advanced training in retinal diseases. That's when I thought, this is the field I want to dedicate myself to. But even today, while I'm a retinal specialist, I still have to be a general ophthalmologist first. You need that broad foundation, especially when you're on call. He describes how ophthalmology teams work collaboratively, ensuring patients are seen by the right specialist as their condition demands. However, in practice, all ophthalmologists must be prepared to handle a wide variety of cases. We move patients between specialists when needed, but to function effectively, we all need to have general ophthalmology skills at our core. When I started medical school in 1978, things were very different to how they are today. The three big specialties were medicine, surgery, and gynecology. Smaller fields like ophthalmology were there, of course, but they didn't get much attention in the curriculum. During his studies, Mr Dinakaran recalls that ophthalmology was far from glamorous. Technology was limited. Examinations relied on a simple torch and a magnifying loupe. As a medical student, his exposure to eye care was minimal. We had just 2 weeks of ophthalmology during our entire medical course. It wasn't considered a priority. Even now in the UK, things haven't improved much. Medical students might only get a single week, or in some cases, just 1 day, of ophthalmology training. He finds this particularly concerning given how common eye problems are in general practice. Roughly 10% of GP consultations involve eye-related issues. It's baffling that medical students get so little time to learn about such a crucial area. The organ itself, he notes, is small but incredibly complex. And with this article there's a photo of a woman having her eye examined by an ophthalmologist. This article will continue in the next edition of our newsletter. And, at the very foot of the article there's a symbol for YouTube, underneath which it says, search the Partially Sighted Society on YouTube to listen to this interview in full.
Trustee vacancy. The Partially Sighted Society is looking for a passionate and committed individual to join our board of trustees. As a trustee, you will play a vital role in guiding the charity's work, helping us to support people living with sight loss to live independent and fulfilling lives. This is a volunteer position, and we are seeking people who can bring fresh perspectives, skills, and enthusiasm to our team. If you care about making a difference and want to contribute your time and expertise to a local charity with national impact, we'd love to hear from you. Apply today. For more information or to register your interest, please contact us by email by writing to reception@partsight.org.uk or by phoning 01302 965 195, that's 01302 965 195. And, with this article, there's a photograph of the PSS trustees, stood next to each other smiling at the camera at a Christmas function. There's a patterned curtain and a Christmas tree with decorations and lights behind the smiling group.
School books from Doncaster find a new home in rural Tanzania. At the Partially Sighted Society, we are always mindful of how far the smallest gesture can travel. A surplus of bold-lined exercise books from our school shop has found its way to southern Tanzania, where pupils at Pomerini Secondary School are now putting them to use in their studies. We first heard from Mr Dinakaran, the school's head of special educational needs and disabilities, who wrote to say thank you for what he described as his first encounter with our specialist books. The donation arrived in late May, just as term was drawing to a close, and was carefully kept back until classes resumed in July. The school, which sits in a rural part of the country, faces the kinds of challenges familiar to many communities in East Africa. Long journeys to and from the classroom, and the fact that students don't always arrive on time when the new term begins. Mr Dinakaran is still expecting more pupils to return before the end of the month. For those already back, the arrival of new exercise books with their thick, bold lines designed for children with sight loss has brought both surprise and encouragement. What came across most strongly in Mr Dinakaran's message was the sense of welcome. On behalf of his pupils, he extended thanks to everyone here at PSS and to all those who support our work. He also offered an open invitation to visit. "You will be most welcome," he wrote. For us, the story is a reminder that the work of our school shop is not confined to South Yorkshire, nor even the UK. What may begin as a routine order of exercise books or a donation of surplus stock can ripple out across the world, giving young people with visual impairments the tools they need to learn. It is humbling to think that a product designed and printed in Doncaster is now being used in classrooms thousands of miles away. And it is a testament to the generosity of our supporters that we are able to make these small but significant connections, one book at a time. And, at the top of this article, there's a photograph of students from Pomerini Secondary School with PSS-made books on their desks in front of them.
Discover the future of wearable assistants. Meta X Ray-Ban AI smart glasses are now available at the Partially Sighted Society. As part of our commitment to using the latest technology to support people with sight loss, the Partially Sighted Society is proud to now stock the innovative Meta X Ray-Ban AI smart glasses. We've had the opportunity to trial this cutting-edge wearable technology in our low vision clinic, and we found it offers a powerful suite of features that can make everyday life easier for certain individuals with visual impairments. These include 1. Real-time spoken assistance. Ask questions and receive audio answers without needing to see a screen. 2. Scene recognition. Identify surroundings, landmarks, or signs through AI-powered photo capture and description. And 3. Reading assistance. Reads aloud printed text. Ideal for letters, everyday documents, and books. What's more, all this cutting-edge technology is built into a familiar, stylish pair of Ray-Bans, combining function with fashion. We're committed to making sure every product we offer meets the individual needs of the person using it. To ensure these glasses are suitable and not missold, we strongly recommend booking a low vision assessment at our sight centre in Doncaster. This will help determine whether the glasses are right for you. Prices start from just £299 for plain lenses. Additional costs apply for prescriptions or transition lenses. For full details, please give us a call on 01302 965 195. That's 01302 965 195. And, along with a close-up photo of a pair of the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, there's a Meta advert within this article, which lists information about the glasses that we've just heard, and which also says, "Discover the future of wearable assistance with Meta Ray-Ban," and Meta Ray-Ban AI smart glasses now available from the Partially Sighted Society, along with the PSS logo and the words, "Seeing the way forward together."
How to use Gemini, Google AI, for everyday help. At the Partially Sighted Society, we are always eager to highlight new technologies that can support people with visual impairments to live independent, confident, and fulfilling lives. One of the most exciting developments in recent times is Google's Gemini, a cutting-edge artificial intelligence system designed to assist users with a variety of everyday tasks through natural, conversational interaction. Gemini represents a significant step forward in AI, offering more intuitive, detailed, and helpful responses than ever before. For someone experiencing sight loss, this technology has the potential to be an invaluable aid in daily life. By simply speaking to Gemini, Users can get help without needing to rely on visual input or complicated interfaces. Whether it's answering questions, managing schedules, or interpreting the environment through a smartphone camera, Gemini is built to provide accessible support tailored to individual needs. One of the most impressive features of Gemini is its ability to describe images and text using a phone's camera. This means that when you're out shopping and need to identify a product label or want to know more about your surroundings, you can simply point your device and ask Gemini to describe what it sees. This can be a huge confidence boost for people who find reading small print or recognizing objects challenging due to reduced vision. Gemini's voice-first interaction model makes it easy to use without needing to navigate screens or menus visually. You can ask it to set reminders, create to-do lists, or provide timely information such as weather updates and news. For people living with sight loss, these features can reduce reliance on others and help maintain control over daily activities. Importantly, Gemini works smoothly alongside existing accessibility tools such as screen readers, ensuring that it complements rather than complicates your current setup. Getting started with Gemini is straightforward. If you already use a smartphone with Google services, chances are you have access to many Gemini-powered features via Google Assistant. Activating it can be as simple as saying, "Hey Google," and then asking for assistance in your natural way of speaking. From there, the AI will respond with helpful information or perform the requested tasks with ease. Sean Fowler from the Partially Sighted Society has witnessed the impact these new AI tools can have on individuals with visual impairments. He shares, "Tools like Gemini are opening doors for people with visual impairments to gain greater independence. Being able to rely on AI to describe surroundings, assist with daily tasks, and provide quick information makes a real difference in quality of life. We encourage everyone to explore these technologies and see how they can support your everyday needs," Sean said. As AI technology continues to advance, the possibilities for improving accessibility and daily living for people with sight loss grow rapidly. The Partially Sighted Society remains dedicated to keeping our community informed about these developments and offering practical advice and support to help you make the most of emerging tools like Gemini. If you would like to learn more about using Gemini or other assistive technologies, please don't hesitate to get in touch by emailing Sean at partsight.org.uk or by calling our helpline. We are here to support you. And with this article, there's an image of a man holding and talking into a smartphone. The phone has the app Google Gemini open and it's taking instructions from the man.
The Synaptic USB version 3 audio player. Enjoy your favorite audiobooks and music with the Synaptic USB Player V3, designed especially for people with sight loss. Its easy-to-use tactile buttons let you plug in a USB stick and listen straight away. Best of all, it bookmarks exactly where you leave off so you can turn it off and pick up right where you stopped. The price is £54 excluding VAT, or £64.80 including VAT. To learn more, contact the Partially Sighted Society at reception@partsight.org.uk or call us on 01302 965 195, that's 01302 965 195, today. And there are 2 photos of the Synaptic USB version 3 audio player with this item. It has 5 control buttons, distinctively yellow in color, on the top of, and strongly contrasting with, the black brick-shaped casing.
Back to school support. Helping children with visual impairments start the term with confidence. For many children, the return to school in September brings a familiar mix of excitement and nerves. But for families of children with visual impairments, the new term can feel particularly daunting. Fresh classrooms, unfamiliar teachers, and the fast pace of lessons often highlight the everyday challenges of sight loss in ways that are hard to anticipate until they happen. Preparation can make a big difference. Conversations with teachers before the first day not only help them understand how a child sees the world, but also open the door to small, practical adjustments that make learning more accessible. A worksheet printed with greater contrast, a seat that avoids glare from the window, or a lesson plan that takes into account the time a child may need to use assistive technology can all reduce anxiety and increase confidence. That sense of readiness extends beyond the classroom. For younger children, practicing the school journey ahead of time can turn what might feel like an intimidating obstacle into something familiar. Walking the route together, rehearsing road crossings, or even timing the bus ride can all help embed the journey as part of a reassuring daily rhythm. At the same time, small acts of independence, whether it is packing a school bag the night before or finding the right classroom unaided, build the kind of self-belief that pays off throughout the year. Even with preparation, the transition back to school is rarely seamless. Children may not always admit that they are struggling to read the board, to keep up with classmates, or to join in games in the playground. Parents and grandparents often find that gentle, regular conversations create the space for children to share frustrations that might otherwise go unnoticed. Addressing problems early can prevent a child from feeling isolated and ensure that school remains a place of growth and belonging, rather than exclusion. At the Partially Sighted Society, we understand how vital the right tools are in creating that sense of belonging. Our school shop provides practical support with bold-lined exercise books, high-contrast pens and rulers, and other equipment designed specifically for children with sight loss. These small adaptations, often overlooked by mainstream suppliers, can transform a child's ability to take part in lessons on equal terms. For families navigating the back-to-school rush, knowing that these resources are available can make all the difference. The start of a new school year is always a threshold moment. For children with visual impairments, it can be a test of resilience, but also an opportunity to thrive when the right support is in place. With thoughtful preparation, open communication, and access to resources that truly meet their needs, the return to the classroom becomes not something to be afraid of, but a chance to develop their confidence and independence. And there's a photo with this article of the back of two children as they are exiting their house to go to school.
Maths Geometry Set Bundle. Getting to grips with geometry can be tricky enough without having to struggle to see the markings on your tools. Our PSS branded Maths Geometry Set is designed with bold, high-contrast print to make measuring and drawing clearer for students with sight loss. Each set includes a 15cm ruler, a protractor, and 2 triangles, all durable, practical and classroom-ready. With the right equipment, pupils can focus on learning and building confidence, rather than worrying about keeping up. This Maths Geometry Set Bundle is available now from the PSS School Shop, helping every child see their potential. Visit schoolzone.partsite.org.uk. The price is £9.44, which includes VAT. And there's a photo of the bright yellow ruler with contrasting black measurement markings on it. And also with this item, a QR code has been printed with next to it the words, "Scan me for more back-to-school essentials."
Remember a Charity in Your Will Week, which is the 8th to the 14th of September 2025. A promotion is printed here, in bold black lettering on a bright yellow background, for the Partially Sighted Society as they are part of Remember a Charity in Your Will Week. The advert reads, "What will your legacy be? Together, we can build a better future for people living with sight loss." And this promotion features the logo of Remember a Charity on the top right of the image. It also features a gentleman wearing a PSS branded hat and the logo of the Partially Sighted Society to the left of him.
Help us keep changing lives through Remember a Charity Week 2025. This September, the Partially Sighted Society is proud to join Remember a Charity Week, a nationwide campaign that celebrates the extraordinary difference gifts in wills can make to charities like ours. For over half a century, we've stood beside people facing the life-changing challenges of sight loss, offering practical advice, emotional support, and tools that help them reclaim independence and dignity. But here's something many people don't realize: a third of our total funding comes from legacies and gifts in wills. Without these extraordinary acts of generosity, so much of what we do simply wouldn't be possible. These gifts are not just numbers in an account, they're stories of lives changed, opportunities restored, and confidence rebuilt. Why your legacy matters. When someone loses their sight, life can feel like it's closing in. Things that were once second nature, reading, cooking, sending a message to a friend, suddenly feel like insurmountable hurdles. But with the right support, people can learn to adapt, rediscover joy, and re-engage with the world. That's where your legacy comes in. By leaving a gift in your will, large or small, you're helping ensure we can continue to be there for anyone in need, for generations to come. Real lives, real change. Every day, we see the difference this support makes. Like the gentleman who, after losing his sight, thought he'd never be able to read again, until our team introduced him to a tablet with magnification software. Now, he not only reads, but emails his grandchildren daily. Or the young woman who came to us after her diagnosis, overwhelmed and frightened. Through our mental health and peer support programs, she found her confidence again as well as a community that truly understood. These are the moments your legacy can create. It's easier than you think. Writing or updating your will is a personal decision, but it doesn't have to be complicated. A simple conversation with your solicitor can ensure your wishes are clear and your loved ones are cared for, while also allowing you to make a lasting difference to a cause close to your heart. And because every gift matters, whether it's £100 or £100,000, you don't need to be wealthy to leave a meaningful legacy. Even a small portion of your estate can create ripples that touch countless lives. Help us change lives not just for today, but for those who come after us. Consider adding us to your will today. Thank you.
PSS Culinary Corner. Autumn in the kitchen. Warming tips as the nights draw in. As summer gives way to autumn, the long light evenings gradually shorten into earlier sunsets and cooler nights. At this time of year, the kitchen once again becomes the heart of the home, not just a place to cook, but a space to gather, keep warm, and prepare for the months ahead. A few thoughtful adjustments to your kitchen habits can make the darker evenings easier and more enjoyable. As natural light fades, the importance of good lighting indoors becomes clear. Under-covered LED strips or simple plug-in lamps can brighten work surfaces and reduce shadows, making chopping and cooking safer. For added confidence, tactile markers or bump-ons on dials and buttons ensure that ovens and hobs are easy to use, even when the world outside feels dim. With shorter evenings, it can sometimes feel harder to find the energy to cook from scratch every night. Batch cooking becomes a practical solution. Preparing soups, casseroles or stews in larger portions means you only need to reheat them later in the week. Storing food in bold, contrasting containers such as dark lids on light tubs, or using tactile labels can also help keep meals organised in the fridge or freezer. The season itself brings a rich harvest with vegetables like squash, carrots and beetroot adding warmth and flavour to meals. Yet their earthy tones can sometimes blend into dark worktops, making preparation tricky. Using chopping boards in contrasting colours, a white board for carrots, for instance, and a dark one for parsnips, makes the process clearer, safer, and more enjoyable. Autumn is also the perfect time to embrace slow cooking. Slow cookers and air fryers can be particularly helpful for people with visual impairments, as they cut down the need to watch over a hob. With straightforward controls and minimal fuss, they allow comforting meals to simmer away, filling the home with inviting autumnal aromas. A well-organised kitchen becomes even more valuable during these times. Keeping knives, utensils and ingredients in their usual places saves time and reduces stress, while labelling spice jars or using containers of different shapes makes it easier to add those distinctive seasonal flavours. Autumn also carries with it a rhythm of small, comforting rituals: stirring a pot of soup, buttering toast while the rain taps against the window, or sharing a crumble fresh from the oven. The kitchen in these moments becomes more than a workspace. It is a place of reassurance, familiarity, and warmth. And at the top of this article there's an image depicting a variety of fruits and nuts, including pumpkins, blueberries, plums, and walnuts. There's also a fresh-baked loaf of homemade bread in the centre of the image, which is contained within a rectangular wicker basket. And now the recipe of the month. 1 pot creamy Mediterranean chickpea stew. Serves 3 to 4 people. Time 10 minutes prep, 25 minutes cooking. Equipment needed: 1 large saucepan or deep frying pan with a lid, wooden spoon, can opener. Whether you've been cooking for years or you're just getting started after sight loss, the kitchen can feel overwhelming at times. Chopping, prepping and juggling pans can be tricky even at the best of times, and that's without trying to tell your cumin from your coriander. But not every recipe has to be complicated. In fact, some of the tastiest dishes are also the easiest, like this comforting, creamy Mediterranean chickpea stew. It uses everyday ingredients, relies on shop-bought shortcuts, and only needs 1 pan, so there's less to manage and less washing up. What's more, it's packed with fibre, plant protein, and eye-friendly nutrients like vitamin C, lutein, and beta-carotene, so it's great for you too. Ingredients: 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 small pack of pre-chopped onion, or 1 onion chopped, 1 teaspoon of garlic puree or 2 garlic cloves crushed, 1 pack of pre-chopped mixed peppers or 1 red pepper, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, half a teaspoon of dried oregano or mixed herbs, 1 tin of chopped tomatoes, 400 grams, 1 tin of chickpeas, 400 grams, drained and rinsed, half a tin or 200 millilitres of coconut milk, a handful of spinach or frozen greens, and optional feta cheese for crumbling at the end, salt and pepper to taste, and optional lemon juice for serving at the end. Method: 1. Start with the onions and garlic. In your saucepan, warm the olive oil on a medium heat. Add the onions and garlic and stir gently for 3 to 4 minutes. The smell will turn sweet and mellow as they soften. 2. Add your peppers and spices. Tip in the mixed peppers and sprinkle in the cumin, paprika and herbs. Stir everything together. The spices will become aromatic, giving off a warm, earthy smell after a minute or 2. 3. Stir in the chopped tomatoes and chickpeas. Give it a good stir, then leave it to simmer uncovered for about 10 to 12 minutes. You should hear a gentle bubbling sound as it cooks. Over time, the liquid will reduce slightly and the stew will begin to thicken. As it does, the bubbling sound will become quieter and softer. That's a good sign it's nearly ready. 4. Add the richness. Add the coconut milk and stir well. This will lighten the colour and add a smooth and rich texture. Let it heat through for 3 to 5 minutes. 5. Add your greens and feta cheese, if using. Spinach or frozen greens go in at the end. Stir until wilted and incorporated. Crumble your feta cheese on top. 6. Taste and season. Add a pinch of salt and pepper. A small squeeze of lemon juice can add brightness and zestiness to the dish, really bringing it to life. Final notes: if you'd like to make the dish more substantial, try serving it over fluffy rice, couscous or bulgur wheat. It also goes beautifully with a warm flatbread or a piece of pita bread, perfect for dipping. For an extra touch of creaminess, you can add a dollop of natural yogurt, especially if you're not using feta. This stew keeps exceptionally well in the fridge for 3 to 4 days, and it also freezes brilliantly, making it an ideal option for batch cooking or busy days when you need a quick meal. And there's an image of the 1 pot creamy Mediterranean chickpea stew from the article. There's also a pot of herbs and spices to the right of the dish, as well as a wedge of lemon.
Simon says. Simon Marnie is a man of many lives, a former Royal Marines young officer, an accomplished artist, a published author, and a passionate advocate for sight loss awareness. Having navigated the profound challenges of sight loss himself, Simon brings a unique blend of resilience, creativity, and empathy to his writing. In this excerpt from his book, Simon discusses the power of language. How we use language is crucial in shaping the tone and outcome of any encounter. It creates the psychological and social environment in most situations. This goes beyond political correctness, which, in my view, misses the point of using positive language. 40 years ago, when I set up a day center, I insisted on referring to people with, rather than the disabled, a distinction that was as misunderstood then as it is now. I also stressed focusing on what clients could do, not what they couldn't. Looking back, I realize I didn't go far enough in using language to create a positive environment, and many colleagues struggled even with that. Language becomes especially important when referring to people with distinctive attributes, such as race, illness, or disabling conditions. The word disability itself sets up a negative context and primes for failure. Even organizations like Disability Rights UK reinforce this negativity, showing that the great and good are not always the brightest. While thinking about this, I noticed how many negative words begin with D, with disability standing out as particularly damaging. That's why, throughout this book, I've avoided the word where possible, preferring phrases like Penny Melville Brown's People Like Us or the term plus. As she notes in It Could Be You, this group now includes a quarter of the UK population, and growing. I also favour people with altered capability, which feels more positive. At Carsington Sailing Club Sailability, a programme supporting people with altered capabilities across Europe, we discussed this terminology. Someone jokingly suggested altered abilities or AA, which led to a burst of laughter as we linked it to breakdown recovery or resisting alcohol. You had to be there. Ultimately, we must distance ourselves from words like disability, disabled, incapacity, and flawed. These terms are deeply negative and demoralizing, especially in a world where the number of people with altered abilities is only increasing. As advocate Penny Melville Brown says, it could be you. And, at the top of the page, there's a photograph of the article's author, Simon Marnie. He's smiling at the camera.
Events at PSS in September and October. On Wednesday, September the 3rd, Knit and Natter, from 2 to 4 p.m. On Thursday, September the 4th, a coffee morning, from 10:30 a.m. to 12 noon. On Wednesday, September the 10th, creative well-being from 2 to 4 p.m. On Wednesday, September the 17th, walk, talk, and tuck in, from 12 noon to 2 p.m. On Thursday, September the 18th, a coffee morning, from 10:30 a.m. to 12 noon. On Wednesday, September the 24th, support group, from 2 to 4 p.m. The details for this are yet to be confirmed. On Wednesday, October the 1st, Knit and Natter, from 2 to 4 p.m. On Thursday, October the 2nd, a coffee morning, from 10:30 a.m. to 12 noon. On Wednesday, October the 8th, creative well-being, from 2 to 4 p.m. On Thursday, October the 16th, a coffee morning, from 10:30 a.m. to 12 noon. On Wednesday, October the 22nd, walk, talk and tuck in, from 12 noon to 2 p.m. The details for this are yet to be confirmed. And on Wednesday, October the 29th, support group, autumn auction at the Earl of Doncaster Hotel, from 1:30 to 4 p.m. All these events are free to attend, with the exception of any crafternoons that may be scheduled. In these cases, we ask participants to kindly make a £5 donation towards material costs. We can't wait to see you all soon.
Change someone's life today. Become a supporter of the Partially Sighted Society. For over 50 years, the Partially Sighted Society has been helping people diagnosed with sight loss to rebuild their lives. From our fully equipped sight centre in Doncaster, we help thousands of people every year. We provide free sight tests, assessments and mental well-being services to anyone living with visual impairments, which are all funded by you. The Partially Sighted Society receives no statutory funding, so your donations are the lifeblood of our organisation. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can ensure that people who have recently been diagnosed with sight loss can access our full range of services and keep our vital work available to those who need us for many years to come. Send a cheque payable to the Partially Sighted Society at 1 Bennett Thorpe, Doncaster, DN2 6AA, or set up a standing order to the Partially Sighted Society. Our bank sort code is 30 95 74. That's 30 95 74. And our bank account number is 00145 084. That's 00145 084. Our bank is Lloyds Bank at 34 Moorgate, London, EC2R 6PL. And the reference for the standing order is S for Sugar, F for Foxtrot, 2023. That's SF 2023. And there's a QR code printed here for easy online access to making donations to the Partially Sighted Society. Underneath this symbol it reads, Donate online by visiting our website partsight.org.uk/donate. And with this information there's a side-on photo of a woman smiling broadly as she holds the facing head of her guide dog as it sits on the floor in front of her. There's another guide dog in the background with other people in the same room at what is a social event, with food and drink mugs on the table behind. And at the foot of this final page of the newsletter, in large bold capital letters, it reads, Thank you.
This is the end of the September 2025 newsletter from the Partially Sighted Society. The Partially Sighted Society, registered charity number 254052, may be emailed at reception@partsight.org.uk and phoned on 01302965195. That's 01302965195. This audio version has been produced by Infosound, a British charity, registered in England and Wales, number 11428082, and registered in Scotland, number SC039929. Thank you for listening.